We have our design imported, we have our joint guide, and we have our elbow, wrist, and shoulder nodes created. You can import any design you want, and these are just blank drawing nodes. On the joint guide, with our selection tool, and apply to line art and color art checked, we can select our guide, copy it, and paste it on the elbow. Now we can turn off the joint guide. We don't need that anymore. Keeping our settings the same, we can select this and just kind of reposition it over where we want our elbow to be in our design. Holding Alt and Shift, I can scale it down, and using those green lines, we can match it to the direction of our guide. We can use the vertical lines to match the design, and the horizontal line helps us where we actually want the elbow to be. I'm happy with that. Now I can select it and go to the wrist. Paste. And now we do the same thing. But notice the wrist is a little bit smaller. So we can adjust, still using those guides. And even though it's a different size, our guide still works. It's also handy to use the arrow keys at this stage because it allows you to shift things very precisely. The wrist is looking good. Now we go back to the elbow, copy, and let's go to the shoulder and paste. We'll move it up, scale it down a little bit, right, so that's in place. So if we add pegs and adjust the pivot points permanently, now we can just use our red dot and match the pivot point to that dot on our elbow, on our wrist, and on our shoulder. And just like that, when we rotate, it's a perfect rotation. So now we can use our shoulder, elbow, and wrist to help us find our forearm, bicep, and hand. So we're going to go to the elbow. On the line art, we're going to grab our circle, Control C, and paste it on our forearm. Now using our contour selector, we can move these points. Now we have to be careful to not move the points that are touching this horizontal line. That's going to make sure our forearm rotates perfectly around the elbow. But everything else, we can adjust it to our design. So I'm going to bring this down here to get the sleeve. And you can hold Alt to break these handles to give you a little bit more control. And you can even change this to black so we can see the difference. And the last thing we want to do is we want to delete the top points, and then using Alt to break the handle, we match it exactly to our horizontal line. There we go. The forearm is done. We're going to do the same thing for the bicep. So let's take the elbow, copy, paste, but now we could also take the shoulder, copy, and paste on the bicep. And what we can do, use our contour editor to connect these two together. We can use our cutter by holding T to swipe away. And if we select everything, we can merge it to one shape using this. So now I'm going to use our contour editor to adjust our contour points like before. It stays together as one shape, and it's pretty easy to manipulate. Now, we can follow our design with these contour points. And then here, we want to do the same thing. We want to delete those top points and match our horizontal lines. This is going to be hidden, so we don't really need to worry about it. And finally, for the hand, let's do the same thing. We're going to grab the wrist, copy, paste. We can adjust to the hand shape. If you want to add more points, you can press Control and click on your line. And that gives us more points to add. And same thing for the wrist, we can match it to the horizontal lines as well. Right? So if we take away our guide, we should have something that looks like this. Now nothing is connected, so we got to add some pegs on our forearm, bicep, and hand. And what we're going to do is using the same pivot information as our elbow, wrist, and shoulder for our forearm, bicep, and hand. So the elbow is going to have the same pivot as the forearm. You can just copy and paste. The shoulder is going to have the same pivot as the bicep. And the wrist is going to have the same pivot as the hand. So now when we rotate, you'll see the forearm rotates perfectly around that joint. You'll see the hand rotates perfectly around the wrist. And the bicep rotates perfectly around the shoulder. In the next video, we're going to add some color and connect these pegs so we have a proper hierarchy for our arm.